our capacity to go offline, off the clock, as it were, and engage in play with one another, where creativity happens. And the nature of time. I think of Ben Franklin, right? His famous lines: "Time is money." And I think of William Blake: "Energy is eternal delight." And there's a way in which, in our capitalist culture of just, we feel pressured to be workaholics. When we work for somebody else, we're selling the idea of the labor theory of value. We're selling our labor time. We're selling our very productive capacity to someone else who's making a profit off of that. They're paying us, and there's a whole market for labor, and we hope that people get paid a fair price for their labor. But, Rudolf Steiner would say there's a deep fundamental lie embedded in this idea that an individual could sell their productivity to somebody else. This is our life force we're talking about. And the idea that I might sell that I could somehow separate it from myself and give it to someone else for a price, it could only be a kind of slavery. I mean, it's wage slavery. It's not as bad as chattel slavery, but it's still a form of enslavement. My very life capacity, my productivity, my creativity is being taken from me, severed from me. What Steiner would propose is that we don't pay people. What the lie is that we could pay people for their labor time. You don't pay people for their time. Your time belongs to you. It couldn't belong to anyone else. What we pay people for is the products of their labor. But putting that issue to the side, the very nature of time changes. It transforms when we shift from that working mentality to this playfulness. It's out of time, but time still passes in a sense. The clock is still ticking. The days are still turning. But when we're playing, it's as if we're engaged in a form of behavior that is an end in itself. You could say, well, it's useless then. It's not exactly useless. It's just self-justifying. Just like beauty is self-justifying. What does beauty get you? Nothing beyond the experience of it. And so play is intrinsically valuable. It's not extrinsically valuable. It's an end in itself. And, I think there's a limit to what policy changes can do to solve these problems. It's a deeper cultural, spiritual transformation that we need. But there was a proposal. I don't know if it was Bernie Sanders who introduced it or if I just heard him talking about it. But 4-day work week seems like a simple enough thing, but it actually opens up longer weekend. I mean, think about how much more spaciousness a 3-day weekend has in terms of just having fun, not worrying about Monday. I actually think, and this is part of the argument for this, that people would be far more productive in those 4 days of the week if they had 3 days to play, But again, I think even more fundamental is getting away from this labor theory of value, that you can sell your labor time. There's something deeply perverse about that. And I think we need to really examine that. Because, when we're working, we're going to be stuck in a groove. We have a job to do. We have expectations to meet. We have boxes to check. There's no creativity that's going to come out of that. Right. And so we're selling our productive capacity, and we're just channeling it into somebody else's mold versus feeling like we can explore our own creativity as an end in itself and engaging cooperatively with others as we explore that. I think it really does. It's not like this would harm the economy or in any way stifle growth and productivity. It would unleash it.